What's going on YouTube? Broccoli AC here doing a deck profile for set 3. Thank you guys for being patient. I know it's been a while since I put up some content, but I've been busy with life and playtesting pretty much every single week. The set's been out for a couple weeks now, almost a month, and I've just been really overwhelmed with how many decks are out there. I mean, I've been playtesting a lot of decks, all kinds of styles, and there's just so many fun decks out there, and I just really am having a hard time to pick out which one I really like. Blue's always been kind of my style since the beginning of set 1. You know, I've been making my blue Frieza, blue Nappa decks and everything. So I wanted to see how blue was doing in this set, and of course it got, you know, a huge bump, especially with more anger control and manipulation and a couple good life cards here and there. So Turles of course came out. He's one of the most talked about MPs. You know, super strong level 1 power, and just a couple of his other levels are just really good. You know, so I test out Turles, but every single week at my locals I've been trying out a deck just to see what kind of decks you know, I really like. I've been playing red Krillin, blue Piccolo, black Nappa, Saiyan Turles. What else did I try out? I think I tried blue Nail and yeah, red Garlic, and then I think the past week and a half I've been playing blue Turles, and it's pretty much one of my favorite decks. It hits pretty hard, it sets up pretty good, it has a lot of really powerful physicals, and yeah, it's just really good. You can't use endurance, so let's just go out straight up for the deck. Blue Mastery, of course. Your opponent needs 6 anger to level up to advance, and you could discard an energy to block a physical, or vice versa, and then you could manipulate anger by 1 level. Awesome style. It's a very control kind of style. Turles level 1, you're most likely going to stay on this level. Your styled attacks deal +2 stages of damage, and they cannot be prevented. No endurance, amazing. You're just going to pretty much sit here on level 1. Once in a while, rarely, you could get to level 2. I mean, it's okay, it's not like the end of the world, just because he has an extra attack, but it's decent, If you get to level 2, you want to find some way to really kind of bump yourself up to level 3, because that's kind of the ideal situation. But Turles level 2, energy attack costing 2 stages, damage 5 stages, kind of weird. And then this damage from that attack can be prevented, and if you hit, your opponent pays 3 stages, and then if they can't, you raise your anger 2 levels and use a critical damage effect. So yeah. And then level 3 is kind of where you want to be at, but that's kind of not what this deck is kind of focused on. It'd be great, but this is wasting a lot of resources just to get to level 3. And I think there's just other styles I could level up faster, like red and black. Blue is a little bit more control, so you don't level up as fast. Or at least this kind of style of deck. But yeah, banish top 3 cards of your opponent's discard pile. Your attacks do +3 stages damage, and they can be prevented. Level 4 you never hit, so let's just not go there. So yeah, let's just start off with the deck. Forgive me for my shakiness. I left my tripod at my locals, so you have to bear with my shaky hands and all these excited little jerks of movements here. Let's go with the setups. So for setups, I ran 3 blue stretch kick. Obviously, I mean, it's attack deal +5. You're doing incredible amounts of damage, and then you get to manipulate my anger if I want to, but usually you don't really level up, again, like I said. Also, I ran 3 blue key buildup. I love this card because it really catches out people off guard. As soon as they see Turles, they're like, oh, well, physical attacks. I do run a decent amount of energy attacks as well, so it kind of forces my opponent to kind of be like, oh, well, damn, what else is this deck kind of made up of? Because I run 3 of these and a whole bunch of other, you know, energies, so I like it a lot. It also lowers your opponent's anger, so you really want to suppress your opponent's anger, especially against MPPV decks that are like extremely popular right now. Damage 7 life cards, 8 life cards with lifting drill, and if if you have stage locked already, I mean, those extra 2 stages could add up. Turles level 1 per se. Of course, 2 visiting, extra card. I mean, grab your time, grab whatever you need. Drills. I ran with 2 blue biting drills. This card is really good for this deck. I mean, it's +2 power stages for damage for all your attacks, and when a card effect lowers your opponent's anger and he's already at 0, he mills the top card of his deck. So it's really good, especially good against decks that want to sit at level 1. They really don't gain any anger. So Black Nappa, Turles deck also as well, SDCC promo. You know, a couple cards like that want to just sit there. You mill them, lower their anger, use your mastery. They're going to be milling, so it's a good card nonetheless. Blue lifting drill. It's +1 on the life cards, and again, like I said, I do have a couple energy attacks, so that extra +1 life card of damage unpreventable is huge, and could really sway the favor and kind of tough close matches. And every time they stop, lowers their opponent's anger, so it's really good, again, for the anger suppression, anger control. Last 2 drills, 1 blue positioning and 1 lookout. Positioning, of course, gets cards that I want back to the top of my deck. If whatever I need that gets discarded, I could just put it back, put off my blue head knocks, lunges, betrayals, whatever I need, shuffle it back in, or put it back to the top. And Lookout Drill, I really like this card, just for the fact that it's really anti-Namekian and anti-black. If it enters play from my hand, I get to rejuvenate 1, which is cool. I usually don't. I have better luck pulling it through lunges. But the first time each turn, an opponent's card effect will destroy or banish cards from the top of your life deck, reduce that amount to 0. So again, Namekian with all their Dragon Balls, you know, they're mill. You don't need a mill. Same thing with you know, black foreshadowing, all that stuff that discards or banishes. Just reduce it. It's a good anti-card. It's there just to kind of get my opponent to just be like, damn, well, I can't really do so many shenanigans. It's good. Events. Ran 3 blue shifting maneuver, Omni Block, 2 endurance. Don't really need to say too much about that. And last 3 events is 2 stare downs and 1 time. Stare down obviously picks at my opponent's hands, and time is always going to be there. I don't run any spheres because I don't have any, so if I would, I probably definitely would, because spheres are very helpful, especially in the meta where stuff like red restrictions are going around, and you know, time and just all these other like added events. Yeah. Physicals. Let's go straight to it. 3 blue lunges, 2 endurance, attack table +5, another attack that does AT tables +5. Search for the top 5 cards in my deck for a setup drill put in play. This obviously searches and kind of speeds up your deck. Next, another key card. Of course, if you're running blue, especially in the meta, you gotta run 3 of these just because it's your best board control card. I mean, you can't go anything wrong with this. Banish an opponent's setup drill or ally in play. You're gonna want to get rid of, you know, everybody is putting down all these kind of cards just to set up, you know, black power-ups, allies, you know, Kami's going around, and Frieza, Nappa, all that stuff, all those allies, and there's just so many things out there, and if you're able to blue betrayal them, banish it, it's a lot better rather than using like blue wrist block to kind of just discard it. And 3 blue shiny face crunch. This is probably one of my prized possessions because I love this card. This is probably my favorite artwork from set 2. Come on, who could argue with that? Jace getting punched in the face. It's amazing. So yeah, this card is great, especially good against like mirror matches with physicals. You gain 3 stages. Look at my opponent's hands, which is great. You get to kind of figure out what you want to do for the rest of the combat, and then it's AT +5, +2 with Turles level 1, +2 with biting drill. You know, you could do up to 11, 12 stages damage. It's very good with all the plus AT plus 5 attacks. Another AT plus 5 attack. 3 blue round throw, lower opponent's anger, and then I could also play this to stop an energy attack instead. So if I wanted to play that, if I'm going it's a very heavy energy deck, like Krillin deck or something like that, just hold on to this, stop it, and then use my mastery again for one of my many physicals to block another energy attack. It's great. Aside from that, stage lock them, you know, just go in for the kill. Next, I ran 3 blue head knock because a physical doing 5 life cards is, yeah. Just like how defensive burst is a physical. Head knock needed. It's definitely needed in this meta, especially against decks like Red Garlic, Red Krillin, Namekian Piccolo, decks that really want to level up, Black Garlic. I mean, you're just going to want to really utilize this card and abuse it to your advantage. So it's great that blue makes it so that your opponent needs 6 anger to level up. You know, right when they hit that 4, you know, you really want to start panicking and use something like Head Knock. But being able to do this extra damage, 5, 6 with lifting drill, and then again extra stages, it's very good. And then I also ran 3 blue takedown. This card is incredibly strong, again against NPBV, which is kind of a weakness of this deck. Just not really a weakness, but it is a hindrance because you're gonna need to find the right cards at the right time. If you don't draw into Head Knock at the right time or blue takedown, your opponent is just gonna speed anger at you, and you won't be able to do too much about it. Physical attack, 4 stages, 6 stages with Turles, 8 stages with Biting Drill, depending on your AT table. It could go up to 9. 11. You lower your opponent's anger 1, and if your opponent's anger was lowered to 0, lower your opponent's MP 1 level. This card is huge. You don't need a hit effect. This literally happens right away. But remember, the keyword is that they have to be lowered to 0. They can't already be at 0 already. That's not the wording of this card, nor the intent. So you have to be lowered to 0 if they're having 1 anger. Play this card, lower them to 0. If your opponent's anger was lowered to 0, lower your opponent's MP 1 level. Again, this is really good against Namekian, Garlic, Frieza, any deck that really wants to level up, or any deck that has like a really good level 2 but like a crappy level 1, you know, like Wheelo or something like that, or just like it's very good. And again, if they're staying at level 1, it's still a really good solid attack. 4 stages, 6 stages, unpreventable. You know, it's great. It's great. And the last 2 attacks is 2 blue leaping kick. This card is freaking amazing. I remember one match that I did. I think I had 2 blue stretch kicks, and then I had a time in my hand, blue leaping kick, and like a crouch, or not a crouch, blue guard or something like that. So play entered combat. I was at full 10. I don't think my opponent was expecting such a barrage of physicals, so hit with the stretch kicks, allowed a couple attacks to go through, and then blue leaping kick, and then I discarded blue guard, and then used the effect to banish it to draw a card, and then use blue leaping kick again. I mean, blue leaping kick had +2 stages, +4 with Turles. I was at C, he was at 0, so that was another 7 stages. And then with Biting Drill out, that's 9. So I was doing 9 life cards twice, 18. And he kind of just quit right away after dealing at least almost 30 life cards of damage with the stretch kicks, 2 stretch kicks, and then the blue leaping kicks twice. So it was just too much. It could hit really hard if you have the right hand. And the perfect hand for this is blue leaping kick and a time, just because you could discard it and, you know, won't have to worry about it. But I really use this when I have a good board presence, like if I have 2 to 3 stretch kicks or 2 stretch kicks and a key blast. It's just so deadly, and this card could get you such a big upper hand. Yeah, it's a very good card. If Mr. Waffles out there was watching, and if he was like, what's your MVP card of this deck? Blue leaping kick, definitely. Let's go to physical box. I ran 3 blue wrist blocks because my meta runs a lot of setups and a lot of drills. They like playing black, they like playing blue, so that's pretty much the styles that play the most aside from orange. And I think we got like 1 or 2 orange players, so I mean, blue wrist block, very helpful. Destroys your opponent's setups or drills. Can't go wrong with that. And then I also ran 2 blue precarious defense. This card is good for many reasons, especially against stasis decks that really want to stall out. Black power up, red relaxation, a lot of setups, Namekian growth, Namekian everything that searches for Dragon Balls. I mean, you discard this during the planning step, and then you choose a setup and play and place it to the bottom of its owner's life deck. Great. You're barely going to use this as a block. You can't use this against Turles because I tried using this against Turles, but it's obviously Turles' damages can't be prevented, or whatever. So prevent all damage from physical attack. It's good for a decent block, but it's not really meant for that purpose. Doesn't really synergize well with positioning drill either, so I run 2 of it. It's mainly just for board control and kind of just for passive decks if I don't have stuff like Betrayals out or wrist blocks. And then I also ran 1 leverage. I didn't want to run so many because I don't hit level 3. Can't get its really good maximum value out of it, but you block and you look at the top 3 cards. Your opponent chooses one of them and goes back to my hand. Sure, it replaces you, but I just felt like the other 5 blocks were worth that extra slot. And then now let's go to energies. I ran 3 blue arm blast. This is, again, you can play this to stop a physical, especially in a heavy physical meta. You got to run this energy attack costing 2 stages, 5 life cards, 6 with lifting drill, and then an extra 2 stages. Catches people off guard, and it's life card damage that's unpreventable. And if it hits, just crit away some allies and just crit away in general. Next, 3 blue floating beam from the new set. This card is very tricky and very dirty. I think it's a very good card, and it's very underlooked right now. It's energy attack costing 2 stages, damage 6 life cards. You could raise your anger 1 level. You may raise your opponent's anger 1 level, and then if your opponent's anger level is 4 or higher, this attack cannot be stopped. You're going to play opponents that can anger pretty quick. You're not going to be able to stop all their anger. There's going to be opponents that could still gain 2-3 anger combat, and your head knocks or your blue takedowns or your cards that lower your opponent 1 anger, your mastery is not going to be sufficient enough all the time. There will be times where your opponent will be having 2-3 anger from last combat, and then they could raise it again in the next combat, and it could go against you. So you have a couple cards in your disposal like blue floating beam, couple blocks here and there that raise your opponent's anger, mastery that could raise your opponent's anger, and you could get them up to level to anger 4 or higher, and then it cannot be stopped. And then of course with Turles power, level 1 can't be prevented, so they're going to be doing an automatic 6. Can be blocked, can't be endurance. It's pretty much almost like a destructo disc. You're a guaranteed crit, and if you have like lifting drill out, it's just so much better. You're going to be doing 7 life cards automatically if you could set their anger to 4 or higher, 4 or 5 basically. So it's a little tricky card. You're going to have to use it at the right time, but more often than not, you will be able to get use this card at the right time. So you really got to play around this card. If you're playing against a deck that does like to level up, keep this card in your hand, use it at the right time, and just blow them away with a nice heavy energy and physical beats. But if you're playing against a deck that likes to sit on level 1, you're gonna have to really do some work for this. Otherwise, this is just a regular potential 6-7 life cards of damage, and it's nothing more than that. But with so many decks out there that want to level up and get out of their level 1, I figure this is great. It's a good tech. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. This is something that I like to do and kind of just mess with my opponents. Like, well, why are you raising my anger for whatever reason? And then you drop blue floating beam. You can't stop it. they can't prevent it, it's like, fuck, you're dead. Excuse my language, but it's a good card. It's a very good aggressive card. It's pretty much, to me, it's like a mini Destructo Disc in a way. Mini in terms of it's not accessible like Krillin in terms of using it right away. There's conditions that you gotta meet, of course, and blah blah blah. Krillin's Destructo Disc, you just use it right away. So, just to clarify. And then I also ran 2 blue neck beam, as if I'm afraid of my opponent leveling up. I like this card for a variety of reasons. If it's discarded from my hand by a card effect, I could gain 4 stages. So I can discard this for the mastery, gain 4 stages. It's really good against like a very physical deck. If I'm going against like a Turles, like a Sand Turles deck, or Black Blue Nappa, you know, somebody's really hard hitting with physicals, Vegeta. Blue neck beam, you could discard it because for the mastery you could discard this to block, gain some stages. And it serves that purpose in a way, you know, especially when defending. Or if you're going against certain decks, again, if I don't have blue head knock, if I don't have blue takedown, if that's not enough to take my opponent down for levels, I have the hit effect that could potentially get them down. So I mean, I could raise or lower my opponent's MP 1% level at the end of the combat if it hits. So it's a backup for in case I'm not able to get my all my lower anger effects and whatnot. Blue neck beam is just a classic card, and I think it's good for a variety of reasons. You know, especially still good against, you know, black mastery. Discard it, you gain 4 stages. You could benefit a lot out of it. So one endurance, 4 life cards, 5 with lifting drill. That's good too, because if it goes through, unpreventable again. So blue neck beam, I ran 2 of, and then of course blue Nappa Terror. And then for the blocks, I ran 3 blue guard because I like this card a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cards that discards, you know, from my hand through card effects. Banish it to draw a card. It's a nice simple energy block. Use it with a mastery. It's just so many things you could do. And then I ran 3 blue defensive stance. The reason why I run this is because it goes in conjunction with like stuff like blue folding beam, you know, black one of their energy attacks, raise or lower a player's anger, and then raise my opponent's anger again. It's just such a good combo in my way. So, and it manipulates my opponent's anger and all that stuff. So yeah, that's my deck. That's my version of Blue Turles. It's done pretty well. I think I won 3rd out of this box tournament, out of 11, and I came in pretty close to one of my other locals, and I'm going to be testing this out in the next box tournament again with some added modifications, because I think I changed like about 10 cards from this deck since last week, so I'm going to test it out again and see how this version does. But I think this version will do a lot better than my previous one, because there's a lot of dead cards that I had in the last one and it was just horrible. So yeah, that's my version of Blue Turles. I hope you guys like it. Rate, comment, and subscribe. I will do the same back for you guys. Yeah, and I'm just really excited about set 3 and the turnout. You know, our locals have been increasing in numbers slowly, or at least getting support, and it's just been really fun. You know, every week we have decks that, you know, people just play randomly. I mean, there are a couple people who play like the same, like Black Krillin, Ginyu, and Piccolo, but there are a lot of people who want to test the waters and try out different things, which is what I like to see. And usually I'm one of my locals. I like to play a different deck every week, and then if I'm in a little bit serious, like prizing, like win a box or whatever, or play mat, then you know, I'll play a little bit more serious deck. But other than that, I like Blue Turles a lot. I think it's up there. I don't think it's top tier 1 or anything like that. I think this Blue Turles is like a tier 2, if I had to take up my guess. Again, you guys could agree or disagree, but that's kind of my guess of where Blue Turles is and whatnot. I mean, the blue style is amazing. It's incredible, but I don't think there's really a blue deck yet. I mean, blue Domination Piccolo is very, very good. It's very annoying, it has to be very defensive because I tried an aggressive build and it just wouldn't work out. So you're just gonna have to run Blue Piccolo, domination, very defensive, run like 62 blocks or whatever you want to do, and just win through survival. I mean, it works. I just am not a defensive control, chill, sit back kind of player. You know, it's totally fine if it works for you, but I'm a little bit more aggro. Hence, I run Turles. I like the card, and hence I ran Nappa and Frieza. So I mean, those were my other builds that I spent more time on compared to all the other NPs out there. But yeah, I mean, Gen Con's around the corner. I think there's a regional this weekend or whatever like that, something like that. And then yeah, I'm unable to make Gen Con, but if I were, I might have ran this deck. I don't know. It was either going to be this or a Nappa deck, just because Nappa could get rid of allies really quick and he could do stage damage. So it was either going to be maybe this physical Nappa deck, or who knows, I maybe Black Krillin, which everybody's going to be playing, or a lot of people will be playing too, just because they're so comfortable with set 1 and 2. But you know, those were the 3 that I probably would have took at Gen Con if I had to make a decision. But yeah, I mean, there's so many decks out there, and I really don't know what's going to be the meta. We really can't tell until there's a large database. So I mean, we can't really judge off the first 1 or 2 regionals. Gen Con could maybe get a good pool because they capped it at 200, a little bit over 200, so it's a good data to pull from. But then there's other regionals that could have, you know, just the same amount of numbers, or you know, at least like 100. So I'm really excited. Our regionals is not till October in Illinois, but I know a lot of my buddies are going to be going there and be playtesting the hell out of everything, and maybe set 4 will be out by then, but who knows. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to my rambles and all that, and being patient. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about the deck, what you think would probably take out and maybe substitute in. Again, spheres, I would definitely put them in a heartbeat if I had, and Visage, and Visage maybe too as well. So I'd probably take out, you know, maybe a Key Blast or something like that. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Hope you guys like it. Test out the deck. It's a lot of fun. Again, you could set up for really hard attacks and kind of just blow your opponent out by like 20-30 life cards if you have the right hand, and yeah, it gets pretty crazy. So big ups to everybody else, and shit, yeah, it's like 3 in the morning. I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna go play some PlayStation. But yeah, peace out guys, and have fun. Later. Goku.